we think this is how it's supposed to be. Next slide. So the common thing that we hear from our State Department of Education in Arkansas is, you guys are so whiny, you tinfoil hat wearers, we're not sharing any information, we're not doing anything different than we always have. You're protected by FERPA. We have to operate within the confines of FERPA. Well, what's a FERPA? The Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. It's a law that's supposed to protect student data. Problem is that in 2011, Arnie Duncan and company went in there and changed the regulatory policies of this act. And they did two major things. One, they changed and expanded the definition of personally identifiable information to include pretty much everything under the sun, including biometric, psychological, medical information. And then they reduced the need for parental consent to a best practice. Well, you know how that's going to go. So, according to the law, as it stands now, the United States Department of Education, Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, Criminal Justice System, Bill Gates, Pearson, Achieve, NGA, CCSSO, all these corporations that are tied to this, they can collect data from my child, and they can share and sell my child's data, and I don't even have to know about it. They're not required to get my consent, they're not even required to tell me they're doing it. Now look to the rescue. The bill mill. Hey, we see you have a need for a piece of legislation. Here's a sample bill we recommend that all the states do to protect your student information. I'm sorry, but if this was conspiracy theory, then ALEC would be coming out and telling us they have a bill they want us to pass. You can look at that online. The CCSSO started getting fed up with us a few months ago. Because, you know, there's coalitions like mine in every state. You've got one here, too. I work very closely with the Mama Bears here in Tennessee and some others, and we all communicate regularly. And when we do things, we tend to do them together so it has a bigger impact. And they got tired of hearing us complain, so the CCSSO sent a letter up to Arnie Duncan saying, hey, will you put these people to rest and tell them to stop whining? We're not going to share any data. We're not doing anything different. These are the guys who in their mission statement specify continued disaggregation. The state departments of education have always reported student data aggregately, in other words, anonymously, in groups. You know, all the Latinos are scoring this, or all the kids in this district are scoring that, yada, yada. This is different. This is drilling down to the individual student level and tracking them. So, we sent a response to their letter. It's a doozy. You should read it. Go to edlibertywatch.org and just do a search for data collection. It'll pop up. That's the direct link. I encourage you to read. The letter from the CCSSO is there, and then you can read our response. And our coalition signed off on that letter. See my name on there. Haven't heard a peep since. Next. This is the language from the cooperative agreement that every state that signed up at PARC or Smarter Balance signed. This is the takeaway. The grantee must provide timely and complete access to any and all data collected at the state level to ED, that's the U.S. Department of Ed, or its designated program monitors, whoever those people are, technical assistance providers, research partners, whoever those are, and the auditors, pretty much everyone under the sun. Producing all student-level data in a manner consistent with industry-recognized interoperability agreements. This is where the states unwittingly signed over the rights and sold their students to PARC. They didn't think we'd read it. They didn't think that these mothers would read these contracts. Oh, we read them. We read them. Next.
We're doing.
Oh, let me
What
pause
talk
for
to?
a
We're
second.
pulling data
I want
from
to tell you who this guy is. This is the CEO of eScholar, coming to a classroom near you. You need to find out if eScholar is going to be in your schools. I just got word they're coming to ours in Arkansas. And he's at an event that's called, get this, Education Data Palooza. Oh, God. It was held at the White House. No joke. Every year, they go up there, all these corporate execs from these big data companies go up there and kumbaya about how they're going to use this open data, like my students' personal information is somehow just open, public property. Okay? And they're going to use all this information and how helpful the Common Core is going to be in doing all of this data stuff that they like to do. Okay, let's go back and hear what he has to say, because he connects Common Core to this. Sorry about
I want to talk
that.
too. We're pulling data from everywhere. You name it. Having open standards is important. We get data from thousands, tens of
Thousands of
thousands
places.
of different places. Being able to do that fast and clean is incredibly important for us. Just want to talk about one thing here that's important data that we need to be able to pull in and make all this work. Is Common Core data about skills. I know I'm really running out of time. I'm not going to go into it in detail. Now, when we surveyed students, not a single one of them actually cared about, never asked us about the Common Core.
Imagine that.
But, we looked at it and said, all right, I'm not so worried about that. Because how many people, if you ask them, do you care whether or not you have TCP/IP on your smartphone?
What is
They
that?
probably say, no, I don't. But you do care. This is the glue that actually ties everything together. If I want to achieve a goal, how do I know when I got there? How do I know? If I've got my own individual path to achieve my goals, how do I know when I got there? And I can look at this and see, these are the skills I need to achieve my goal, and I can turn that into a pathway to get there. So with that, that's what we're doing with open data, and we're very excited about it.
Very excited.
Whoa.
We are so excited about the money we're going to make off of your tax dollars. We're super excited. This is from a Pearson marketing video. You can get this online. I'll send you the link if you want it. This is what Pearson Education wants to do with our children's data. Predetermined career track. Look at all that. All their test scores, classes, attendance record, what they ought to be when they grow up, and where they should go to school. Not with my kid. Next. The Constitution defines the God-given right to privacy, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Next slide. Heads up homeschoolers, private school kids. The CCSSO made it very clear to the state of Oklahoma in a recent conference that they intend to pull those student populations into this national data quality campaign. I suspect the way they're going to do that is with the testing. They want test scores. So I suspect that in the future, the next step is going to be to try to get those populations into the PARCC and Smarter Balanced testing. So once again, homeschoolers, you're going to have to go fight for your right to educate your own kids here pretty soon. Just be vigilant and watch. The Homeschool Legal Defense Organization or Association has written a comprehensive piece on their website about the threat to homeschoolers with Common Core. Just go to hslda.org and type in Common Core in section 7. Next. All right, assurance number 3 is really quick. I don't spend a lot of time on this. I leave it to the teacher unions to fight this battle. But the third thing we had to agree to in the recent TOP application was new state-of-the-art teacher evaluation systems. Every state's got one. Next slide. And, all we have to say about this is, look, Pearson owns this, by the way. So Pearson is the company providing these evaluations and setting the standards and all that in conjunction with some other educrat in your state. And we really just feel that, first of all, tying their evaluations to how our kids do on high-stakes tests is a little ridiculous. We're a little tired as parents of this high-stakes testing environment, this mega testing culture to begin with. But to tie their evaluation to how they do is inappropriate. You can't judge a teacher's performance based on one day of a test. You really can't. And you can't even judge a student's achievement. We've gotten too attached to that ideology. It's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of bureaucracy. The teachers now have to maintain portfolios, keeping track of all kinds of paperwork to meet these requirements. They set very unrealistic expectations. For instance, we have a board member who is 16 years old. He's going to be a junior in high school. He's a technical genius, really smart kid. And he was talking to some of his teachers about their new portfolios and their evaluations, and he got to look at one of the evaluation forms that was being used, and one of the items that they were graded on was whether or not the class erupted in a round of applause at the end of their lesson. Thank you, Pearson. So this is one of the reasons why we see a lot of people on the Democrat side of politics insert themselves into this opposition. The teachers' unions, which are very progressive, very liberal, really oppose this piece of it.